Welcome to EnduringTechnologyPress.com. I'm Eric, and among baked goods, apple fritters have a particular affinity for me, or I for them. And I was a little bit broken-hearted when Tim Hortons stopped making them in shop and they went to the pre-baked ones. They're not nearly comparable to what they were before, in my opinion. But these trump anything you'll ever get at a bakery unless they're making it a similar way. And these are whole wheat homemade apple fritters. They're incredibly easy. You can load them up with loads of apples so they're just bursting with that flavor. And to really top it off, literally and figuratively, we're using apple cider syrup in the glaze. So you get that extra burst of apple flavor. You don't have the cider syrup, use maple syrup, but the cider syrup really puts a nice touch on these. And they're whole grain, made with the grain we milled in the home grist mill. And it is so easy to produce them. Stay tuned and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so we've got our butter melted in the fry pan. We thawed out our apples. Smells awesome. Okay. So we're going to heat these up, get them a little bit golden, and then we're going to go ahead and add our sugar and cinnamon. Okay, we're back, and we boiled off a bunch of that water. Now, you're going to want to use apples if you can get them that are a little bit crispier. You don't want applesauce here. But, you know, you might not always be able to get good solid cooking apples, particularly when you're gleaning from neighborhood trees. So what you're going to want to do is not overcook them. You don't want the applesauce, right? Not the mush. So we'll add our cinnamon and our sugar. There we go. The butter's already in there. Stir it in. Okay. We'll turn this off. You see that's still nice and chunky. So our fritters have had a chance to rise. They're going to be just awesome. And the oil's heating up. While we wait for that, we're going to do our glaze. And you can use a number of things here. You can use vanilla in it. You can use maple syrup, which would probably be the easiest ones to gain access to. I prefer using some of our homemade apple cider syrup. So we're going to take roughly 2 cups. The 1/4 cup was the one that was closest to the top of the drawer, so I just grabbed it. You want to make your glaze fairly close to the time that you're actually going to use it, because it'll tend to get a little bit harder. So you don't want to make it too far in advance. Okay, that's ballpark it. We're going to take that cider syrup. This is chilled down. It is awesome. The big advantage here is that we're going to add about 1/4 cup. Big advantage here is that you get a really, really awesome apple flavor. There we go. Licking the spoon, cook's prerogative. We're going to take a fork, we're going to mix that in. We're going to add enough water as necessary to thin it out. And when the oil heats up, I'll bring it back. And so we've got our apples done up right now. Now it's time to roll out our dough. So we'll flour work surface, some of our home ground flour. There we go. It's a fairly sticky, sweet dough. One of the reasons why either using a food processor or your bread machine with its non-stick bowl really comes in handy for these. It's nearly impossible to do this type of stuff with by hand. Okay. Just going to push this out. Make sure you have lots of flour on your work surface, because this is a sticky dough. Okay. I'm going to go over and grab the apples. Put those on there. Go and grab a lot of that awesome cinnamon sugar butter. I'll mix that in. Spread this out. It's still warm. Don't burn yourself on it. Okay. Over here. I'm going to take this, pull it roughly over it. Okay, there we go. Sticky in some places, not sticky in others. Throw it off to the side. Now what we're going to do is go chop this into lengths. Okay, you don't have to be all that careful. When it starts getting sticky, toss on a bit more of your flour. The idea here is that you're going to have something that's fairly chunky. Not super chunky. You can see that's a sort of size, right? You don't want it super chunky. You just want it middle and chunky. Okay? Now, because you've broken it all up, what you need to do now is knead it into, or at least combine it into a ball that you won't have things fly apart when you put it in your oil, right? This type of chunk, if you just put it on there, it's going to fly apart. You add a little bit more oil or flour, do so. Get something that sticks together, okay? And put it on your silicone baking sheet. So I'll do that for the rest of them, and then I'll let them increase. We're looking at about 20 minutes, half an hour. Then I'll let them rise for, get the oil hot, and then we'll come back and show you the frying process. Okay, we've got our oil hot. The first one's already come out. Slip this one in. Cook on one side until you can see the boiling is diminished. Then you flip it over to the other side and again wait until the boiling is diminished. You don't want to completely go to the end. You want to allow it to still be putting out a little bit of that water vapor, that steam, which keeps it from absorbing all of the fat. So you don't get something that's excessively fatty. We're going to take this one that's been done. It's cooled down a little bit. This is one reason why I like the wok. It's got that draining rack. Whew, still hot. Okay, so we've got our thinned out glaze, and I'll have to wait until that cools down a little bit before I can taste test it, but these will be awesome and fairly easy, fairly straightforward. So for more on the full recipe, hints and tips to empower your independence, go to enduringtechnologypress.com. Thanks.